Planet Dolan. Although some of mankind's greatest inventions have come from a desire to do less work, we still look down on laziness. But how far can some people take it? And does it always work out badly for them? Here are the 15 laziest people ever. I'm Danger Dolan, and today... Number 15. After working for the New Delhi Public Works Department for 10 years, electrical engineer A.K. Verma went on a vacation in 1990. Instead of returning from his holiday, he simply stopped showing up to work. 2 years later, an inquiry into his absence was delayed, and the same thing happened over a decade later. In the end, it wasn't until 25 years of paid leave that Mr. Verma was finally dismissed in 2015. Number 14. For many tennis players, competing at the championships in Wimbledon is peak of their career. For Bernard Tomic, a previously top 20 ranked Australian player, the competition was too much like hard work. He performed poorly in the first round and claimed that he was bored. The tournament fined him a third of his participation fee, and tennis players worldwide criticized his lack of enthusiasm. Some defended Tomic, saying that we've all had work days that feel like a chore. Number 13. The 30th President of the United States believed firmly in reducing government intervention. To him, this meant that the job of president was to do as little as possible, and for this reason he is known as Silent Cal, or America's laziest president. He usually worked for as little as 4 hours a day and slept for 11. On hearing that he died in 1933, Dorothy Parker asked, "How could they tell?" Number 12. In the sleepy Mediterranean town of San Remo, life moves at an easy pace. Policeman Alberto Moreauglia lived in an apartment above his office and was recorded punching his time card in his underwear before going to bed and wandering down to the beach. In his defense, Alberto's lawyer claimed that the crime fighter had once foiled a robbery with no pants on, holding a pistol. Sadly, there's no video evidence, but hey, I take his word for it that he stopped the robbery in his underwear. Number 11. Regarded by many as the worst monarch in the history of Britain, George IV lived an extravagant and hedonistic lifestyle. His coronation cost a modern-day equivalent of around $25 million and had acquired colossal debt even before he became king. Rather than taking interest in the affairs of the nation, George spent most of his time womanizing, drinking, and gorging himself into obesity. Number 10. In the 18th century, huge steam-powered pumps were used to pump water out of mines in Europe. The valves of the steam engine had to be operated manually to ensure that the steam entered the piston at the correct time. Humphrey Potter was a young boy with the job of operating the valves, but he quickly grew bored of this repetitive job. So, he connected the two valves together with a system of cords, and that's how the automated steam engine was born, because this guy was just lazy as shit. Number 9. In 1879, an English Society of Dictionary Writers, or lexicographers, began compiling a truly comprehensive work for the Oxford University Press. They initially planned to finish the project in 10 years. A decade later, they had successfully compiled all the words starting with A and B. By the time the final volume of V through Z were published, it was 1928, nearly 50 years. So think about that next time someone takes an hour longer than they said it would. Number 8. Japan is famous for its hard-working employees, but 6 government bureaucrats from the Ministry of Agriculture showed very little interest in getting any official work done. Instead, computer records showed that the men spent their time editing the Wikipedia page for manga shows like Gundam. The ministry reprimanded them, but they kept their jobs on the condition they stop writing about cartoons and do work. Number 7. NFL team the Oakland Raiders signed rookie Jamarcus Russell for a record-breaking $61 million 6-year contract. The quarterback played only 31 games in 3 years. He reportedly fell asleep during team meetings, failed to watch any of the game plan videos sent to him, and put on a considerable amount of weight. Russell has not played in the NFL since he was released after 3 years. Number 6. In 1835, Lord Melbourne became Prime Minister of Britain despite remarking beforehand that it would be a damned bore to be head of government. He slept his way through debates, dinners and cabinet meetings. He seemed to favour inactivity over activity, whether it was dealing with working class revolution or Lord Byron sleeping with his wife. Towards the end of his rule, He spent most of his time in office conversing with the young Queen Victoria. Number 5. Just outside of Tokyo stands a department store with an escalator for the laziest of customers. The escalator is on the bottom level and holds the record for being the shortest in the world, with a height of around 80 centimeters and only 5 steps at one time. Riding it takes less than 5 seconds, and even more ridiculous is the fact that it goes down. If you want to move up, you take the stairs. You can literally vault over the entire thing, and it would actually be faster to do that. But that would require leg movement, I guess. Number 4. Truly committed to the art of idleness, 25-year-old hotel employee Emily kept a journal of her lack of work. The 300-page diary included such entries as, "This typing thing seems to be doing the trick. It looks like I'm hard at work on something important." Not surprisingly, she was fired for misuse of company time. She even had her eligibility for unemployment benefits removed, meaning she'd actually have to work if she wanted to get paid. Number 3. Mariam Magala had been working as a forensics technician for the NYPD when the extent of her negligence was discovered. She was responsible for drug testing, which produces evidence used to convict or exonerate suspects, but she preferred to produce results which saved her work. In one case, she labeled the pipe as testing positive for cocaine, purely to save herself the walk to another building for the right paperwork. Your tax dollars at work. Number 2. At the 1904 St. Louis Olympic Games, 32 men started the marathon on a hot summer's day. It turned out to be one of the strangest races ever run, with runners collapsing and being chased by wild dogs. American Frederick Laws made an attempt at the run for a few miles before giving up and jumping into a car, driving 11 miles off the course. He nearly received the gold medal at the end before the ceremony was halted. Number 1. A crematorium has pretty much one job: burning the dead. When Ray Brent Marsh took over the Tri-State Crematorium in Georgia, he obviously decided that that sounds like too much work. Of the 2,000 bodies left in his care, over 300 went uncremated. These bodies were left scattered around the property, rotten and decaying. When families requested their loved ones' ashes, Marsh filled up an urn with dust. Marsh received 10 years in prison for his careless corpse keeping. So guys, next time you have a look at the urn that your grandma's in, bear in mind it could be dust. A lovely thought. So guys, what's the laziest thing that you or anyone you know has ever done? Let us know in the comment section down below, pin our favorite to the top. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. That is it for this countdown.